So y'all want to focus on personal statements. The first thing about a personal statement is you're telling a story. And so oftentimes when I do workshops, I ask people, who's a storyteller? Who considers themselves to be a storyteller? By show of hands. Only one person? Everybody's a storyteller. Because everybody has a story. And your personal statement is your story. You're trying to use that story to compel the decision makers to say, Ms. Gutierrez should be at UCLA.
Is there like a list of criteria?
For stories?
No, for personal statements.
Well, I put it this way. When I read applications, I look for some very specific things. Number one, the opening statement. How do you grab my attention? I was only 10 when it happened the first time. Boom. It's like, I want to know what happened the first time. So I would say that first line, you want to grab the reader's attention, right? And then, I oftentimes am a reviewer for applications. Also, I write letters of recommendation. And the things that I look for to assess, and the things that I try to make sure that I convey to the reader is what I talked about earlier, quality of involvement. What is this young person involved in? Because grades and test scores only tell me so much. What are they involved in, right? And so that's something that you have control over. You can control what you get yourself involved in and the quality of it, right? If it's something that you're not passionate about, it's probably going to come through when you start trying to describe it, right? So the quality of your involvements, outside of the classroom in terms of community service, community organizing, things of that nature. The other thing is the degree of difficulty of your path. The degree of difficulty of your path. In other words, what obstacles have you had to overcome in your life? You see what I'm saying? Those are the two things that really jump out at folks, because the grades and the test scores put you in the ballpark. You can't even apply to some of these schools unless you have the grades and test scores. So you're already qualified right there. So what's going to separate you from the other candidates? It's going to be your story. It's going to be what they, so the quality of your involvement is going to speak to what? Your humanity. How honest of a person is this? What kind of integrity am I feeling from them? What is a sense of compassion do I feel from the story? So that's very important, right? And then the other piece is, what have they had to overcome? I mean, are they just another bright student that's applying to UCLA? Or they've overcome some trials and tribulations? Because that's going to speak to your character, which they're looking for as well. So those are the things that are really going to help set you apart from everybody else with a 3.9 and a SAT score that's through the roof. What's going to set you apart? Your story. So everybody has to see themselves as a storyteller. And you got to look at your life or those episodes that you want to focus on as if you're watching a TV show. And those TV shows that you like, those movies that you like, and the script writing, even some of the songs that you listen to, those are storytellers. So you really want to have some nice opening lines. Like I said before, it happened the first time when I was 10. Boom, the reader wants to hear what you're about to say. I couldn't believe it when she told me da-da-da-da-da-da. So you want to have a nice, strong open line to grab the reader's attention. And then you get into the details. Okay? So we were just talking about personal statements. Anything else we want to go into in terms of personal statements? I'm here to answer questions, particularly about folks who are interested in applying to UCLA, really anywhere.
Is it usually the same criteria across institutions?
Absolutely. Any institution, it's the same in terms of because a personal statement is what it says. It's personal. There's really no specific, There's no specifics, but I'm conveying to you the things that, when I read applications, what I look for in the stories, So different people may look for different things, but I think the things that I'm speaking to are pretty much universal,
How long is it supposed to be?
Typically you wanted a page. A page.
Just one day?
A page.
Can
A
it be
page.
longer than that?
Of course it can be longer than that. It's your story. If you can write 2 or 3 pages of compelling narrative that's going to be like, wow, I can't believe this, I'm putting them in the accept pile. then that's a beautiful thing. But a lot of times people can't carry an interesting, engaging narrative for 3 or 4 pages. You know what I'm saying? But I would say ideally a nice tight 1-pager, you don't want to lose them. You want to get them. So from 1 and then as many as you think you need to tell your story. Okay.
Is there any service or program you know of that will actually prepare you, or at least critique your opening statement, your personal statement before you submit it? Process for that?
I would think that almost anybody connected with Project Learn. You've got, I know that UCLA, there's a Center for Community College Partnerships. They have a relationship with West LA College. They're based at UCLA, so Center for Community College Partnerships. Their job is to help people get admitted, particularly to UCLA. So, huh?
It's like a 1-week process. With Carlene and Shelby, that's how I found out about it.
Okay, okay.
They went through that.
Yeah, so they have different programs, but in terms of just being there, somebody that you can call and say, hey, I've got I'm thinking about applying to UCLA. I've got a personal statement. I need somebody to look over it. They're a support system for that. That's what they're there for. There's another organization on campus called STOMP. They do the same thing. They work with community college students who transfer in. All right. And I'm willing to read it if you want to email me as well. That's what I do. I read applications. I sit on those committees as well as write letters of recommendation. So I have a sense of what folks are looking for. Okay, what's compelling.
You're involved with UCLA and Project Learn?
I work at UCLA.
Well, I know.
Yeah, but Carlene has invited me. This is the second time she's invited me to come and speak. So I'm considered like I look at West LA as a community partner with the work that I do. Yes, ma'am.
I've participated in the summer program called Community
Center for Community College Partnerships. Right.
Which is a partnership between all the community colleges at UCLA to recruit underserved population. So it's a 6-day residential program. You pay for everything, research, and give us workshops, and so that's how I met Vusi. So he was one of the representatives. So that's why you invited him to come for the second time. A marvelous job. Because as you know, UCLA is the top rated school in the world where everybody sends an application. So you're getting inside information on what to do. So participating in that program is an advantage to gain as well. An application is still open online too.
Right. And so,
Which application is that?
yes, sir.
So you said apply for the summer program? How does that go? How many weeks?
Carlene would be the best person to answer that because we thought that somebody from community CCCP was going to be here, but they didn't show up. Yeah, Carlene, how long is that project? Is it 2 weeks? How many weeks? 6 days.
There are different programs.
Yes, there's different
One I
programs.
did was 6 days.
Right.
Go on the website. The main thing is that transfer students. And I'm looking for the flyer. Sorry.
Center, I'm going to put this on the board. Center for Community College. Everybody y'all got smartphones, right? Google that. Just Google that, man. Take out that smartphone and Google this. College Partnerships, CCCP at UCLA.
So participating in that program gives you an 80 and 20% chance of getting in. Otherwise, you only
Google that. Look for a name called Santiago. Santi.
He was supposed to come, but
Yeah. You Google this, they're going to put you up on all kind of information about this whole transfer process. All right?
And I think they extended the application date until May 1st. I'm not sure. So
Right.
Google it.
And they'll have all the list of the programs that you can apply for to participate in that's going to help make you a better candidate. All right?
I'm like a 4th-year community college student. I might take my sweet time.
Absolutely.
That's all I can do well.
Okay.
I'm planning on transferring next year. All my requirements complete, even those that I didn't see, I can see.
Okay.
So I can still register for this year, right?
I believe so, but they're the experts in terms of their programs. I'm not an expert in their programs. What I'm an expert in, to be honest, is students who are at UCLA, what I help them do is prepare themselves for grad school. by helping them figure out which involvements are going to make them look good, different, depending on the graduate program that they want to do, right? Helping them figure out how to tell, in terms of that degree of difficulty of their path, how to help tell that story. That's what I do. I tell students story. When they apply to School of Education to get their master's or get their teaching credential, to get their PhD, when they go into med school, I'm a storyteller in that regard. I tell their story. I help them get in. And I'm batting a pretty high average, So I give all the credit to the students, of course, because they put in the hard work. But my job is to help enhance that application, help make them stand out as a candidate. So that's what I do, right? And that's what gives me insight into how personal statements should sound to the reader. What kind of content should be in that personal statement. For folks who just came in, I said the key things, that opening line, make sure that you grab that reader's attention, right? And one example I'll use it again. I was 10 years old the first time it happened to me. It's like when I read a line like that, it's like I want to know what happened, right? So, and then the other things, the two areas I think that are very important to make sure your personal statements cover, your involvements. What have you done outside of study real hard to get good grades and high test scores? What have you involved yourself in? Because it speaks to your humanity. It tells us what kind of integrity, what kind of compassion, what kind of honesty you have as a person, right? The other thing is the degree of difficulty of your path in life. What's been going on? Because that speaks to your character. Is this a person that can overcome trial and tribulation? Because they get to UCLA, and all of a sudden they used to getting A's, and at first she's like, a C? A D? A F? They lost their mind. Can this person overcome that kind of challenge? And I'm going to tell you, it happens. You get those first years folks fresh out of high school, was the valedictorian of their campus. They coming in, got this. And all of a sudden, boom, they on academic action the first quarter. And they have no idea what to do. And we lose some. Because the degree of difficulty of their path, there was no challenges there, right? So that's something that you want to. So I guess what I'm trying to say too is, ain't no young babies in here, right? I'm looking at some seasoned young people, right? So you've got to been paying attention to your life, what's been going on, and you pick those nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Them hooks. And that's what you're going to expand upon in your personal statement. Yes, ma'am.
For example, yesterday, I was in the library and a group of students were applying for Westerly scholarship. And they came to a roadblock because where the section says leadership service, extracurriculum service. They couldn't answer it. And those were the same students who I kept telling them, come and participate.
Exactly.
Clubs,
Exactly.
Learn, ambassadors,
Exactly.
Women International. And
Exactly.
They said, oh my God, no, I see the reason why. They disqualify themselves
Exactly.
because they don't do anything else but come to the library and
Or they don't realize that stuff they've been doing at church qualifies as leadership. Sometimes things that you do within your own family, on your block, qualifies as, it's how you see it. See what I'm saying? So when people try to tell you what community service looks like, not necessarily. I did this for my nieces and nephews, and we did this on a regular. I took them to the museum every Saturday. Every Saturday we organized something in the family to do. That's leadership, right? Like my daughter's family, Belizean family, man, it's like 50 of them. And they're always organizing something. It takes a lot of leadership skill to organize all of that. Like she's planning on her 10th birthday party Friday. And it's like, I ain't even got time for this, to try to accommodate 100 folks coming for a little 10-year-old birthday party. It's like, give me a break. But it takes a lot of skill. Yes?
Basically what you're saying is that at 3.5, okay, that's fine to go to UCLA. You also have to have other things.
Absolutely. Got to have other things. Because there's a bunch of 3.5s.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of black males with 3.5s. Exactly. That's your story. That's your story. Your story is different from his story. It's different from her story.
Is it the minimum to get to UCLA 3.5? That's what they say.
There's always exceptions. I don't want to kill nobody's dream by saying if you don't have a 3.5 you can't get in. No, that's not true. I'm not going to say that. So, yes and no. Yes and no. Questions? We got some latecomers. Hi. Fantastic. I'm doing great. I got here a little late, but hey, I'm here. You know. And we're just talking about personal statements for folks who are in the process of really strongly considering transferring and what that personal statement should look like. So, questions?
Resources also helping you like this program and
Anybody worth their salt, I'm not telling y'all that UCLA is the place for you. It may be, it may not be. Right? I worked there. It was the place for me. My job is to help you get to where you want to be. So I would say anybody worth their salt is going to try to help you achieve what you're trying to achieve, not necessarily what they're trying. I'm not here to try to make myself look good or make UCLA look good. See what I'm saying? So if you want to go to Berkeley, I'm not going to sweat you because you want to go to Berkeley. I'm trying to help you get to where you want to go. Huh?
I'd rather go to UCLA.
Yeah, so, yes, sir.
Special question about it.
Mhm.
How is the support system at UCLA for black males, minorities?
I don't use the word minority, but I understand what you're saying. I would say it's kind of what you make it. Some people come to the campus and it's like, man, ain't no support, and you got people who look like me all over the place. You got people that look like her all over the place. So it depends on the relationships that you want to establish. You have people there that have good hearts and are there to help. So I would say that the support system is very strong. Like, for example, and we try to create a lot of opportunities for young people to develop their leadership skills. Like, for example, next Tuesday, we're going to be commemorating the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's visit to UCLA. He visited UCLA right after the Selma March. So I don't know how many people saw the film Selma. So right after that, shortly after that march, Dr. King visited UCLA. We're having a huge event where we're inviting 1,800 high school, middle school students. So you got students all over the place helping to plan that piece out. At 12 noon, we're going to be rebroadcasting a speech that Dr. King gave the day that he visited UCLA. The speech was called Segregation Must Die. And that's going to be in Meyerhoff Park, which is a real popular public speaking area on campus. Then that evening, if y'all interested, we're going to have another free screening of Selma and Royce Hall. Community members are welcome. The only thing you have to do is pay your parking fee. But the film is free. We're going to have yes. So that's an idea. There's a Black Male Institute that has a class called Blacklamated that is designed specifically to help young black males when they get to UCLA get kind of connected to the campus, get blacklamated to the campus. So there's a lot. You have the Academic Advancement Program that has all kind of tutoring support, counseling support, and then student organizations like the African Student Union, MECHA. You have a lot of student groups that have created programs, student-initiated, student-run retention support programs. So it's a bunch happening. It's a bunch happening. Yes, sir. No, that's next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday. I sent Carlene there. I said, Carlene, let some of your folks know that we're having a free screen up at UCLA. They're welcome. 7 p.m. is going to be the day screening. 11 a.m. is already, it's closed down. But 7 p.m. Royce Hall is the venue. The world famous Royce Hall. And it's free, right? So we do stuff like that all the time. All the time.
You said screening, what kind of screening?
Selma. We're going to be showing the film. Yeah, showing the film. We're trying to get Ava, man. The big thing, man, was like, because Ava DuVernay, who directed Selma, she's a UCLA alum. And she was involved. There's a program called the Academic Supports Program that she was involved in as a student. She was very active as a student. And so we called her up. She's busy. She's in New York filming, some TV shows, but we never say never. So right now we have some of the high school and middle school students writing letters saying, Ms. DuVernay, we want you to come and speak to us. So maybe she may show up. She's her own boss. So she can just say, y'all, look, UCLA is calling me. I'll be back this afternoon. She can take a jet, fly out, and fly back. She's her own boss. She can call the shot if she wants to. I know that she's speaking tomorrow. She's going to be at the United Nations. and she's going to be announcing the DVD release of Selma. And they're going to host a screening for about 800 high school students in the Washington, D.C. area. But we got them beat by 1,000 because we're going to have 1,800 at her alma mater. So we're trying to see if we can get her to come, or at least give us like a video recording, you know, saying, hey, welcome, young people. I hope you enjoy my film, blah, 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 blah. So we'll see. We're going to keep advocating. Yes, ma'am.
During the day,
Mm-hmm.
you were saying that there's an event.
Yes.
I didn't get what it
It's going to be, we're going to rebroadcast the speech that Dr. King delivered when he visited back April 27th, 1965. So it's going to be at the noon hour from 12 to 1, and it's an area called Meyerhoff Park. It's a real popular public speaking area on campus, right in the heart of campus. Huh? Kirkhoff Hall. Kirkhoff Hall is a student government hall. Ackerman, have you been to UCLA?
I know where that.
Well, you got to come down it. So Royce Hall, come down Jan Steps. That puts you on, and then you come down Jan Steps and you turn left. It's going to walk right into Royce Hall, right into Kirkhoff. So that's the proximity, you know. Yeah. So it's right near Ackerman Union for folks who've been there, shop, you know, right there by the Bruin Bear. Folks been to the heart of the campus. So, all right. Yes, ma'am.
Someone mentioned a few minutes ago about music parking, and you were saying how expensive.
$11. It's $11. Yeah.
There's a bus, because I went to a seminar.
Okay.
There's a bus that Santa Monica bus goes right up
Hillguard.
Hillgard.
Yeah, it can let you off. So that you've got the 8, you've got the 12, you've got the 1, and I think there's another one. Huh?
720.
The 720 can take you there. So there's a lot of ways to get there. Like I caught the bus here. So I use public transportation. Absolutely. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
What about you guys' film programs? So I've been checking on it, and I really don't know that much about it.
I don't either, to be honest. You're going to have to, y'all, listen, y'all. Y'all going to have to Google some stuff. So UCLA Film Department.
Like my peers, I don't carry a smartphone.
You got access to a computer? UCLA Film Department, because that's not my expertise. And so I'm not going to front and act like I know what their program is like, because I don't, right? So UCLA Film Department, all right? Or you can call me, and by the time you call me or email me, then I can maybe send you the link. I'm willing to do that. But today, all I can say is Google it or email me later, all right? Just keeping it real. Questions, y'all, because I got to jump back on my bus. Yes. I got another meeting at 2:30. I hope I make it.
Another question. I'm a golfer.
Okay.
Playing.
Tiger Woods. Well, he done, so you're going to have to resurrect the black man in the game, man.
That's actually my goal.
Okay.
I want to go pro.
Okay.
All my golf coaches, so
Okay. Okay.
Chester, Washington.
Gotcha. Okay, Chester, you played out there? Okay. All right.
Play
All
with
right.
South to do.
Okay.
But I want to basically try out for the team.
Okay.
They, allow it. But how would I be able to, I guess, do that process?
Have you competed?
Not in some years because of.
So you're gonna it's like any other sport. You're gonna have to get some film, man. Especially because you're gonna be like a walk-on. So what brothers do, like for example, there could be somebody here at West LA. West LA have a football team?
Yeah.
Could be a standout, but nobody really knows them. Somebody's filming them, and then he starts sending us films. Look at this guy, man. Can you believe it? Man, you see that move? Let's go and meet this dude. Then they're gonna come out. So you got to get some film on yourself. Participating in a golf tournament. Let somebody interview you. So you gotta tell your story. Your story, your angle is a guy who wants to play golf. You got to package it and then get it to the athletic department. It will be rare because I don't think UCLA's ever had a black guy on the golf team. I don't think. I'm going to check into that when I get back to campus. And it's like, wow, I met this young brother say he want to be a golfer at UCLA. Let me see if they got that. It's the first time for everything. Yes, sir.
What's the most common feature of these personal statements? Besides the opening statement, what's like the most common quality? Like, can you list like 2 or 3 common features of the most successful?
Nothing beyond what I said. I mean, they were involved in something that people say, wow, this is really powerful. What they were involved in, some type of community service, some type of church-related activity, or they had some obstacle that's like, I cannot
Is
believe.
something that they all have in common besides just that? Like something that's like
They're
we all
universal
like-
themes. It's just like good movies, good songs. They all have universal themes. Now, there's a nuance that is different, but it's a universal theme. And so you got to tap into the universal themes. The nuance piece is what your unique obstacle or path was. But it's still a path. Everybody's got a path, degree of difficulty, and that's what they're looking for. So I guess I have to say there's nothing outside of that.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, ma'am.
I know you probably already went over the personal statements, but if you can maybe briefly name 3 important aspects, or maybe I should email you.
Opening line. That opening, it's got to be something that grabs their attention. It could be a tugging at their heart, just get them like, man, I can't. So that opening line, and then it has to show the quality of your involvement. Just what I was harping on just now, and the degree of, because when I look at them, I'm always trying to assess the quality of the involvement, because it speaks to your honesty, your integrity, your compassion, your humanity, and the degree of difficulty of your path, because it speaks to your character. Is this a person that can overcome obstacles? Because they're going to get hit with some obstacles when they come to UCLA. So those are the 3 things that really you should kind of focus in on. Yes, sir.
What about like things we shouldn't do? That might be
Being too verbose. Everybody know what being verbose is? Just talking too much. Exactly. Right? You want to keep it. That's why I say a 1-pager, nice and tight. Nice and tight. Because you don't want to lose them. Once you got them, you don't want to lose them. So, right? Okay.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You just don't want to talk too
All over
much.
the place, just be on topic.
Very focused. I would say outline 2 or 3 things that you want to hit on and stay focused on those things. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, so essentially you're saying just be direct in terms of what you're saying. Don't try to
Absolutely.
sugarcoat it.
Absolutely.
Let people know quickly.
Be honest. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Where you want to go.
Absolutely. Because people can smell bullshit a mile away. And it's like, okay, this is a lot of bullshit. Next. See what I'm saying? So that honesty, that direct honesty, that matters, because it says something about the person. It matters. Okay? Because again, there's going to be a whole bunch of 3.5s and a whole bunch of high test scores. That's not the issue anymore. Everybody met that criteria. Your story. The quality of the person that's talking to me now, because that's the dialogue. That piece of paper is a dialogue. Right? Yes, sir.
So how many transfer students does UCLA admit?
Yeah, what percentage?
They admit about 5,000 undergrads. I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500 to 2,000. Usually the incoming class is around 7,000 new students every year. So somewhere, yeah.
So about 2,000 transfer students.
Yeah, about 2,000. I could be off a little bit, but I'm in the ballpark. Yeah, about 2,000. Yeah.
What are like the formatting guidelines for this personal statement at work?
Google it.
Okay, I was just asking.
College personal statement. And there's going to be a whole bunch. I'm just trying to give you the live and living color perspective of what I look for when I'm reading personal statements, or what I try to focus on when I'm writing letters of recommendation for people. That's what I'm giving you. But you Google that, man, you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff that I may not have harped on that may be like, he didn't mention this. And I'm going to be like, you know what I'm saying? But I got to emphasize the value of research. Because when you come to an institution like UCLA, it's about research. You're not going to hear everything from one person or 2 people or 3 people. There's a lot that you're going to learn and find out from your own research. You got to put your back into something. Dig into it and find it out. Yes, sir.
So after I type up this personal statement, I can call you up and run it by you.
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
So how does that?
I like to read and I like to write.
Because-
You know, those are my passions.
Get a sense of, if I'm hitting the mark before I send it out there.
Absolutely.
By the time you send it out there, that's it. You can't take that
Can't
back.
take it back.
Like they say, there's no second chance for a first time impression.
Can't unring that bell.
So,
Yeah.
but if you're willing to help us out,
Absolutely.
I'll definitely
Absolutely, absolutely. This is who I am. This is my email address. This is my office phone. Right? CPO stands for Community Programs Office. So if y'all on campus and y'all just happen to be like, you know, we heard about the Community Programs Office. We're in the Student Activity Center. Feel free. That's y'all spot. We call that the Liberated Zone back in the day. You know, that's where folks of color come in and feel like we own something. We got a piece of real estate that you say it's ours. And that's how I feel. My nickname used to be the Chancellor when I was an undergrad. It's like, who does cat think? He think he running things. It's like everybody should feel like that. So that's the Chancellor. And the students would be like, the Chancellor? They'd be like, hey, what's up, y'all? They'd be like, oh, I ain't the Chancellor. It's like, yes, I am. Yes, sir.
Anybody knows UCLA, the Chancellor, Winston, though?
Well, he was a vice chancellor. Yeah, he was a vice. I knew Winston.
As far as,
Yeah.
as far as us are concerned,
Yeah,
that was our champion.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
no,
Gave me my first job. You know, rest in peace, Winston Dobie. Yeah,
really
yeah.
did.
Except he didn't know where Zimbabwe was on the map. You know, I ain't talking ill of you, Winston. You know that. So we all have our challenges. We all have our challenges. We all have our challenges. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Winston did a lot of great things, man, for a lot of people at UCLA. Has a strong legacy, and it endures today. Like I said, I'm a part of that. You know, we had our political differences, you know, when we started pushing for more student empowerment, you know, but in terms of, but Winston gave me my first job on campus. He gave me my first opportunity, so nothing but respect for that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you too, you know, because recently, or recent enough, UCLA has had problems with black mental state. You know, I think it was at one point it was a low of like 96.
96, yeah, 2006, the year that I came back in the job that I have now, absolutely.
And how are the, and I know you don't want to use minorities, but how are the numbers?
They've increased dramatically for black admits. They're up close to 300 now. The challenge right now for schools like UCLA is not that they're not admitting. Folks are not enrolling because they're finding better opportunities and more financial support.
Okay.
So that's a huge, yeah. Huh?
My thing is,
You're saying that black people aren't applying because they're finding
No, they are applying and they are getting admitted. They're not enrolling.
because they find better opportunities.
They find better opportunities. More, you got these private schools like Stanford, your Yales, your Princetons, your Harvards that can throw away, USCs, they can throw away more money. Because public schools can't generate that kind of income. They're state schools. So that's a challenge.
when you say 300, it sounds good until you realize the number of applicants you said, which is out of 7,000. So you're really only talking about 4%.
Well, and then what we're talking about, so the big number that people focus on is how many black students apply, how many get admitted, and then how many actually enroll. And the percentage of enrollees to admittance, black students probably have the highest percent of any ethnic group. More of us, if we get admitted, we tend to enroll at UCLA than other ethnic groups, you know. But now when I came in 1980, it was about maybe 700 of us that got admitted. So it was like, I mean, it was like Chocolate City at UCLA. Serious. Comparison to today. It's like 2006, 96 students. It's like, what? Yeah. So can you imagine, I was there throughout every year in the 80s, you had about 700 black students coming in. I mean, we felt like, you know what I'm saying? We felt family. We felt community, big time. So it's a different environment today. It's a different environment. You know what I mean? You know, this is 2000s. It's different. You know, so, yeah. I'm going to take a couple more questions. Y'all now got to bounce.
What would you recommend for a student that isn't quite financially fit for UCLA if they really want to attend? What type of scholarships or grants or whatever financial assistance?
Apply for
they get?
everything. There's so many scholarships that nobody applies for. There is so much money out there that doesn't get tapped. I'm going to be honest with you, there's no excuse because the money is out there. Scholarships, there's an office on campus, the Scholarship Resource Center.
Well, it also has a website, right?
They have a website, and I'm almost certain
UCLA?
it's UCLA Scholarship Resource Center. There are so many scholarships that just do not get applied for. everybody's got scholarships these days. I mean, so you're going to have to, like, you got some that may give you $500, some that may give you $1,000, some may give you $5,000. You're going to have to piece all those together, but apply for hundreds and hundreds of scholarships. Apply.
What's the best resource for scholarships? Because there's that one website that's like super commercial, like it sends you a bunch of junk mail. What's a good resource to find scholarships?
Well, the one at UCLA I know is good. There's a sister that runs that spot. You know, it's called a UCLA Scholarship Resource Center. And but I would say anybody that says, any website that says scholarships, click on it and see if there's a scholarship you can apply for, and apply for it. The money is there. And then you have people like, there's a brother named Delroy who, you know, I got excited a couple years ago that I started meeting these transfers. This brother knows how to network the campus and meet administrators who have money that they can actually slide you $1,000 or give you that little cushy job. So once you get in, then the relationships that you can establish can also bring money your way. So the key is to apply. Get admitted and then go for it. Yes, ma'am. And I'll take 2 more questions after her.
So you've already applied to UCLA as a freshman before when you were coming out of high school, but you didn't get accepted. Will that matter at all?
Not at all. You're different. You're a transfer now. And the transfer route for students of color tends to be a little bit easier. So you're in a good spot. Keep applying for, applying yourself, getting your grades, and then make it happen. It's there. Yes, ma'am. Oh, no. I want some new. So any new questions? She's new. Any questions? They call it first before second. And you didn't have like thirds, fourths, and fifths. Yes, ma'am.
I'm returning this in
Okay.
30 years.
Okay.
What would you suggest for support, encouragement, say if you decide you want to go?
It's going to be hard because there's very few of those. I would say they have there's a spot on campus called the Bruin Resource Center. Bruin Resource Center. And they have some support set up for parenting students who tend to be older. And I think I want to say they have something for non-traditional students who tend to be older. So you want to find those types of resources. You want to find where the OGs at, where they at, and then find them. And then just find older staff, people like myself, who can kind of like relate. Because, everything is trending so young now. Like, the director of my department is 36. I could have been his daddy, you know what I'm saying, as a teen father. So that's just how it's going. So everything is trending young, and I don't hate on that because it's their turn at bat. I had my turn. It's now their turn. And so my job is to kind of help facilitate their leadership development. So that's going to be the challenge. And how comfortable are you in your own skin in a world where folks are like 17, 18, 19. So that's going to be a challenge. Yeah. New face. Question? No, not you. The new face back there. No question? No question? I see new face. Any questions back there, sweetheart?
About the statement,
Yes, ma'am.
the first one?
Yes, ma'am. You're going to make me go all the way to the beginning of my workshop. But I will do this, and then I'm going to have to head out. So what I emphasize in terms of the personal statement, 3 things that are very important. Your opening sentence. That opening sentence should be something that captures their attention. The one example I used was, I was only 10 when it happened the first time. Right there, I'm going to want to know, well, what happened to this person, right? The other 2 things that are very important is, what have you been involved in? Grades and test scores are one thing, but they don't tell me about your humanity. They don't tell me about your honesty, your integrity, your compassion, right? And then the other thing is the degree of difficulty of your path. What obstacles have you had to overcome? Because that speaks to your character, your resilience, your ability to overcome challenges. If you really harp on those things and find some good examples to highlight what you've been involved in and the challenges that you've had to overcome, that's a good story. And those are the things that make people pay attention, help you separate yourself from all the other high GPAs and test scores. Because there's going to be a bunch of them. Right? Okay.
So we can contact you anytime?
Anytime. 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 Well, I'm not in my office at any time, but you can call and leave a message anytime.